Longest Jake here with the first ace that I have earned in the freebie Patton Tank. Now, of course, the Patton Tank is kind of a workhorse, do-it-all, not really the best at anything, but neither the worst at anything. That's how I've grown to see it, and it plays pretty much like your typical American medium with somewhat bouncy turret armor, a huge cupola, but a fairly punchy and deceptively reliable gun. The paper stats do not make it look like it's going to be real accurate, but like a lot of American tanks, they seem to have very, very good soft stats. Kind of the absolute inverse of German tanks, where the paper stats on German tanks are great, but the soft stats that you can't see in the garage that aren't listed by Wargaming, they're pretty bad. The American tanks tend to be the opposite of that, where everything looks like it should be real clumsy and inaccurate gun-wise, and tends to be pretty reliable, especially when quick firing or true snapshotting. And here I am in a top-tier game on Mountain Pass, and basically everybody knows at this point, all American tanks love to be hull down. And the Patton is absolutely no different. This is what it should be doing, because the hull of the... I've always found this to be weird since they gave these away. It's just called the Patton Tank. But this one does not have much hull armor. It's very, very iffy. Most things can penetrate it, and it needs to cover that up, because it's also a fairly bulky hull. If you see one of these in real life, it really is. They're pretty big tanks. The front of the turret can provide some bounces here and there, but the fact is you shouldn't be relying on the armor. As you see, I'm taking very quick shots. And if you're wondering, that shot at the IS-3 and where I keep aiming, there's a plate right above the gun that basically anything and everything the IS-3 faces can penetrate it there, because it's a plate that's only about 20 millimeters thick, and it's actually very nicely and neatly bordered by a whole perimeter of bolts. And in real life, it's where the turret has a removable plate that they can mount the gun in or remove it for servicing. And basically anything that you need to know is if a IS-3 tries to go hull down, just shoot that plate right above the gun. At this range I was at, it's kind of hard to hit, but you don't need to fire premium. You can punch right through it with anything that faces it, including tier 6s. But back to the game, as you can see, nobody on the ice road paid attention to the ELC Even 90 coming behind, so I had to abandon the mid-road and come after him myself. I did not want to leave the T-69 alone, but I needed to. It was kind of an unfortunate situation where you could see me second guessing. I didn't want to abandon the T-69 because I know as soon as I spotted back here, that Leopard PTA is probably going to push the T-69. And for everybody watching, ice road pushes are a bad idea no matter which way you look at it. And if you're wondering why I went to the far right, I was trying to see if I couldn't get a line of sight on the ELC, but he had ducked behind this new little cover that they put in. And that was because this whole place was a killing zone back before the changes. But ELC dealt with. Now I have a nagging suspicion, and it just came to fruition. The ice road pushes tend to never be done by good players, which means when they get into a situation where they're faced with a challenge, it's pretty low percentage chance of them actually succeeding. And the enemy team was being very aware. As you can see, 3 returned back to defend, countered the push, and now they have a full opening. So I'm probably going to have people coming either the ice road, or they're going to come mid-road, or they're going to come down through the dip in the southwest. And unfortunately, again, I thought that the T-69 was going to get pushed by the Leopard PTA, and he did. He actually managed to ammo rack the guy. So that worked out a little better, but he's left on perilously low health. So now, they've made this a really bad position. You only have that one little nook to poke out, and you can't really get much gun depression. You can only basically poke out to spot. And I was thinking the Char would be pushing there. The Udez decided not to, which was bad for the T-69. And that's bad for me. A dead-on side shot, and somehow his tracks eat it. But both the Udez and the Char, they both push through the dip, which is an unusual decision, which does not work out for the Char. And now with the Char gone, I can quite easily push down, and I have still most of my health, so I can very, very easily out-brawl the Udez. Unfortunately, that shot went crazy. It does normally have very good response to firing on the move, to firing without aiming, just snapshotting, even in third-person mode. But it just so happened that one did not work out. So I ate one more shot than I should have. Which now, the MX-65T. At this moment, I don't know if he's going to come road or dip. And I actually spot him through a little crevice in the rocks here. So now, this is not too bad of a situation. I've got a lot of cover here. And he has to come up. So if only the couple of guys that are left over in the southwest, if they can hold on just a little bit, I can maybe maneuver and try to take down this AMX-65. Now, he has more health than I do. But depending on what gun he has, which at this moment, I don't know which one he has. But if he is running the smaller gun, I will be able to out-trade him. And even if he's running the bigger gun, I could as well, but I don't know yet. So I'm going to push and see what I can do. And he has decided to fire premium, which this is endgame situation. I can't fault him too much, but I took the idea. My wife does this sometimes when she gets shot by premium, she switches over. But endgame situation, if they're firing premium, I'm going to fire it back, because as you can see now, the other Patton, he is one-shottable for everything, and now he's one-shottable for nothing. But now this is going to come down to me surviving against 3. And yes, one of them is artillery. And this Type 63 and me, we go back and forth with the little gun duel. He shot the dirt, I hit his tracks. And sure enough, the Iron Arnie was already firing premium. So I feel pretty justified in my usage of it. But everybody's one-shottable at this point. Except for maybe the artillery. He might eat one of my shots if I low roll. But the artillery, who should have been he should have been able to damage me, he fired AP. So kind of a lucky break. He shouldn't have killed me regardless, but if he had been firing HE, I would have been stunned, and I probably would have lost half my health, which then would have made me have to play very, very cautiously against the Iron Arnie with its 320 damage gun. But it leaves just the artillery, and as long as he doesn't get a full pen, I shouldn't have any chance of losing this engagement. I took a real low percentage chance shot, but this one's going to get him, and he has no chance of out-turning me. So finishes it off with one kill shy of a top gun, and showcasing the versatility of the Patton. Again, not the best at anything, but not the worst either. And it got an ace, and fire for effect, fighter, duelist, and bruiser. Ended up being a very, very good game. I had to use Watt Record because for some reason uh, WattReplays.com wouldn't use it. They wouldn't use the patent or recognize it. But it ended up being about 4,400 damage and got a base experience of 1,325. In the end, I only fired a few of the heat shells, so I made a decent profit. And it was all in all a good game. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.